everybody, Francesca here. This week it's World Book Day, so I've come dressed up today as a special character. Does anyone know who I may be dressed up like? Mary Poppins, of course, one of my favourite films, but I also have a book that's about Mary Poppins. I'm going to sit comfortably and I'm going to read it to you. Mary Poppins. It was a morning on Cherry Tree Lane. Admiral Bomber had shot off his morning cannon to give the day a proper start. Miss Lark, is the biggest house on the lane, had sent her dog, Andrew, out for his morning stroll. But in the nursery at number 17 Cherry Tree Lane, Jane and Michael Banks were still in bed. Up, up, said Mary Poppins, their nanny pulling back the blankets with a firm hand. We'll have no lounging around about on a supercalifragilisticexpialidocious day. Supercali? What, Mary Poppins? Said Michael. Close your mouth, Michael. We are not a codfish. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, of course. If you can't think of a word that says what you want to say, try supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, and it just describes today. Can you say supercalifragilisticexpialidocious? It's a bit of a tongue twister, isn't it? That got Jane and Michael up and dressed and breakfasted in record time. Out to the park we go, said Mary Poppins, hurrying them into their hats and coats. Sweet spot, this way! Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, sang Jane and Michael as they marched along the lane. They almost bumped into Mary Poppins when she stopped to speak to Andrew, Miss Lark's little dog. Yip, yap, yop, said Andrew. Slower, please, said Mary Poppins. I can't understand a word you're saying. Yip, yap, yap, said Andrew, slower. Again, said Mary Poppins. Yap, yap, said Andrew. Yes, of course, said Mary Poppins. I'll go straight away, and thank you very much. Yap, said Andrew. Then taking Jane and Michael by the hand, Mary Poppins started off the way Andrew had come. What did he say? Asked Jane. He said, you're welcome, said Mary Poppins. But what else did he say? Jane insisted. I don't think he said anything at all, said Michael crossly. I thought we was going for a walk on the park. There's been a change of plans, said Mary Poppins. Come along, please, don't straggle. She led them on a brisk pace down narrow twisting streets they'd never seen before. Then she stopped at a door of a small house. Rap, rap, went the parrot's head handle of Mary Poppins' umbrella. The door was open and Mary Poppins' friend Bert. How is he? Mary Poppins asked. Bert shook his head. Never seen him this way like this, he said. And that's the truth. Mary Poppins led Jane and Michael inside the house. They found themselves in a large, cheerful room. In the centre stood a table set for tea. Bless my soul, gurgled a voice with chuckles. Is that Mary Poppins? I'm delighted to see you, my dear. Jane and Michael looked about. They could see no one else in the room. Uncle Albert, you promised not to go floating round again, she said. And she seemed to be speaking to the ceiling. Jane and Michael looked up. There, in the air, sat Mary Poppins' Uncle Albert, chuckling merrily. I know, my dear, said Uncle Albert, wiping a merry eye. I tried, really, I did. But I really did so enjoy laughing, you know. Here the chuckles bubbled up, so that he bobbled up against the ceiling. And the moment I start, it's all with me. To the children he whispered, it's laughing it does it, you know. Jane and Michael were trying hard to be polite. They kept their faces straight. But first the laughter spat out of their eyes, then it bubbled up their throats. They began to chuckle. By this time, Bert was rolling about, scared, shaking with laughter. As they watched, he rose into the air and soon was bobbing out beside Uncle Albert. Michael's chuckle grew to a laughter. So did Jane's soon. So they were simply filled with laughter. It bubbled out and they felt lighter and lighter until their feet left the floor and they floated up to the ceiling. How How nice, said Uncle Albert. I was hoping you turned up. Do make yourself comfortable, my dear. I must say that you're a sight. The lot of you, said Mary Poppins. Her arms swelled in a way that Jane and Michael knew meant she disapproved. You know, speaking of sights, said Bert, that reminds me of my brother, who was a very nice cushy bob in a watch factory. Is that so? Said Uncle Albert. What does he do? You know what he does, gasped Albert, who was laughing so hard he couldn't stop speaking. He stands around in the watch factory all day and makes faces! At all four of them roared with laughter that they turned into the somersaults into the air. I found a horseshoe today, said Bert, holding his sides. You know what that means? I certainly do, said Uncle Albert. It means that some poor horse is walking around in his stocking feet. Again the room rocked with laughter. Only Mary Poppins looked stern. Most disgraceful thing I've ever seen, she snapped. Oh, my name isn't Mary Poppins. Speaking of names, said Bert, I know a man with a wooden leg called Smith. Really choked Uncle Albert. What's the name of his other leg? More gusts of laughter. Now then, Jane and Michael, it's time for tea, said Mary Poppins firmly from below. I will not have my schedule disrupted. Oh, please stay, begged Uncle Albert. He pointed at the table on the floor. I have a splendid tea waiting for us, if you could manage to get to the table. With a rattle and a bump, the table began to jerk. Then it up and rose through the air, cups, cakes, teapots and all. Oh, splendid, splendid, thank you, my dear, said Uncle Albert. Then to Michael and Jane, keep your feet back. My dears, watch the cups and mind the jam. Next thing, I suppose, you wanted to pour it for you, said Mary Poppins with a sigh, as she floated neat as you please without so much as a smile. The others still laughed and bobbed about as Mary Poppins poured and passed the tea, with milk for Michael and Jane. Thank you, my dear, said Albert. I'm having such a good time. I wish you could all stay here with me always. We'll jolly well have to, Michael grinned. There's no way of us getting down. Well, to be honest, said Uncle Albert, there is a way. Just think of something sad, and down you go. But who could have think of anything sad? They chuckled at the idea. Time to go home, Mary Poppins' voice, crisp and firm, cut sharply through the laughter, and suddenly, at that sad thought, down came Jane and Michael, Uncle Albert and Bert, bump, 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 on the floor. Oh my goodness. Goodbye, said Michael. We're back soon. And thank you, Jane sobbed. We've had a lovely time. Oh dear, Uncle Albert was sobbing as he waved goodbye. It makes me so sad when they leave. Back home, Jane and Michael tried to tell their father about their adventures. We floated in the air and had tea on the ceiling, Jane began. And there was a man with a wooden leg called Smith, Michael broke in. Poppins, Ryan spoke. What is the meaning of this? Children will be children, sniffed Mary Poppins. And these two are up past their bedtime. Spit, spot. And she marched them off to the nursery muttering, the very idea. Michael and Jane just looked at each other. Anyway, said Jane, kicking off her slipper, it was a supercalifragilisticexpialidocious day. The end. That's the end of the Mary Poppins book now with me. I hope you've had a great World Book Day if it's the end of the day when you're watching this video, or if it's just the beginning. I hope you have a fantastic World Book Day. I love World Book Day. It's one of my favourite days of the year. I love seeing all of you guys dressed up, so I'd love to see some photographs of you. So if you want to send your photographs in of you dressed up as your favourite character, maybe someone might like to dress up as a Twits or Holber Henry. We've seen lots of different costumes over the year. Where's Wally? Yeah? Send them across to your tutor, your form tutor, and we'll see the photographs hopefully. Or if you tweet them on Twitter, we'll also see them, so that'd be fantastic. I hope you all have a great time, and we'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye for now.